Okay, couple minutes late today, sorry. I always think of something at the last minute that kind of derails me right at the crucial time. Um, so hello everybody. I was going to wait a couple of minutes or a couple seconds, I guess, for people to start coming in, although I do see people coming in now. Hi Patty, how are you? Hi Carol, hi Jan. Okay, people are coming in. All right. Okay, so today I'm going to cover a lot of ground making hoop earrings. And this is kind of a fun project. And there's lots of possibilities with them, depending on the types of wire that you use. Um, hey, Deb. Hi, Suzanne. I'm using 3 different types of wire today on these particular earrings, but I'm sure you can use many different kinds. This is just what I had available. And let's see here. I'm going to be, I don't know, using a lot of different things today. Um, but let's see here. Let me show you. I will turn the camera down and show you the earrings that I have made. Move this stuff around a bit. Does that work better? I don't know. I don't know. I just want you to be able to see these okay. Front, back, I don't know. Okay. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Susan. Hi, Antoinette. All right. And Suzanne Greer from Indiana, what part of Indiana are you in? Because I am also in Indiana, but the northwest tip of the state. Okay. So I've got 3 different kinds of wire here that I used. This one, for these earrings, I used 2 lengths of 14 gauge sterling silver wire. They're a little bit heavy, but not terribly heavy. But I made another pair yesterday with 16 gauge wire, and I think I kind of like the 16 gauge, at least for myself. I think I like the 16 gauge weight a little bit more, only because I don't care for real heavy earrings. But like I said, these aren't terribly heavy, but if if you can't tolerate any kind of weight on your ears, maybe the 16 gauge would be better. Also, I'm going to be using some 12 gauge square wire for another pair here, which is kind of a fun look. Okay, and then this is a pattern wire that I got from Rio Grande. I don't have a name for it other than the item number, which I will list in the note handout, or the handout, I should say. But these are kind of fun because it looks like kind of a sparkly wire. It's got a twist already in it, and it has I don't know, it just looks like a little sparkly material. So it's kind of it's really pretty. It's really pretty. So I'm going to be using these 3 types of wire, and you can make different sizes, of course, depending on what you like. Okay, Suzanne's in Fishers. Okay, 8 inches of snow. Yeah, yeah, we were above that band, that weather band, so we got spared this time. But yeah, I know where Fishers is. That's cool area of Indiana. Um, so actually, we're only a couple of hours away. Okay, so those are the ones that I'm going to work on today in the group or in the demo. And let's see. So talking about that sparkle wire, this is my pattern wire uh, package. Where did I put it? Oh, I think I set it over to the side. Just a sec. Or I didn't. So I don't see it now. But I have to have it because I was going to do it for the demo. Here it is. It got turned around. That's all there is to it. Okay, this pattern wire item number, if you want to write it down. Otherwise, I will have it in the handout. But it's item number 102318. Hi, Pat. Um, this is a different number, but I'm not familiar with that one from Rio. I'll have to look that up and see. But this is how it comes. It's just got a little twist in it and sparkly, so that's kind of cute. I'm going to leave this one out because we need that. Okay, so, but I would think there's lots of different pattern wires available that you could make these types of earrings with those too. It says 11 gauge on your package. I would think that would be about right, but it doesn't say that on mine. So I don't know. This just has that number. This is pattern wire, stainless or sterling silver twist. Okay, so anyway, that is that. Okay, that over to the side. And then I'm going to get some 16 gauge wire and we'll use some of that. And then I have a piece of 12 gauge square wire and we'll use some of that as well. This is kind of stiff. You could probably anneal this stuff first, but I didn't. So really you can do whatever you want to do. Whatever's easier for you. Okay, so first step is, I guess I'll do the double wire, the 16 gauge. I'm going to have to get myself a new mat. This thing is looking pretty bad. I do a lot of work on top of this craft mat, and it's really looking pretty funky. But on the other hand, I hate to get a new one because it'll just get it messed up before long anyway. All right, so let me cut this off. I always keep my tags on so I know which one for sure I have, but I'm going to be using a lot of this. So I'm going to get a wire winder. Let me move the camera up a little bit. I'm going to get my wire winder ready and just clamp that to my table. And if you know me or have followed me very long, you know that I'm not real good about measuring stuff. And it might be helpful so that you know how much to use. But just like me, I mean, it's a crapshoot. What I get is what I get. So, all right. I don't really need a whole lot because I've already made a bunch of stuff. But I'll cut this off and then I'll tell you what I cut off. All right. So this is 23 inches here. I have probably about 38 inches of wire. That's sweet, Pat. I don't have either of those things. Um, but I appreciate the offer. You guys can always send me some money. No, I'm kidding. Um, I'm fine. I'm fine. I do this because I like to do it. Patty, I'm going to be in Tucson on February 1st, and I leave on the 7th. So I won't be there a long time, but it'll be enough to do some shows and do some damage. Okay, so what I did was I doubled the wire. I just kind of doubled it. I can't show you the whole thing, but um, I doubled the wire and then I put the two ends in the wire winder and tightened it nice and tight. Now on the other end, it has a loop from where I doubled it. I'm going to insert, um, you could insert a pen or pencil or something just to hold on to that end while you're winding. It has to have some resistance, and I just have the pen or this awl, I guess it is. I have this awl in my left hand and I'm stretching out the wire. I'm not pulling it, I'm just holding on to it. Lucy, dinner when you're in Tucson? Yes, that would be excellent. I would like to get whoever is going to Tucson who's available to have dinner. It was fun when we got together last time, Lucy. I enjoyed that. And it's nice to be able to meet our group members in person, and that was fun. So I'm hoping, I don't know what night or anything yet, but I don't know what we're doing yet. But I'm going with two other people, so I always have other people that I've got to, um, consider when we make arrangements. Okay, so I've got the wire in, and I'm just going to start to twist the wire winder handle, and the wire just kind of gyrates around. It becomes a little more, well, you have to hold on to that other end firmly as it twists. And you can decide how much twist you want in your wire, but I like to take it about as far as I can before I think it's going to snap. So I don't want that to happen, but I'd like a nice tight twist if I can get it. You can kind of feel the tension uh, on the wire as you're winding it, as the twist uh, becomes more twisty, for lack of a proper word. Okay, so twisting, and it's really feeling pretty tense here, so I'm going to stop. And actually, I went too far because my other end doubled over here. I wasn't paying attention to this end while I was yakking. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the wire winder. Hi, Jamie. Take that all off. And I'm going to just cut this off where I boogered it up and put that in my scrap pile and chalk that up to not paying attention while I'm twisting. I usually can multitask pretty well, but every once in a while I get proved wrong. So now I have a nice piece, and it's a good thickness. I think the 16 gauge is great for earrings. I think it'll work well. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I have this piece. Now, as long as I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do the square wire. And for the square wire, you have to have something a little more substantial to hold on to the other end of the wire. Oh, Patty, I know. I wish that you were going to be in town at that time, but I understand completely. It was so nice when we got together at your house. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a pair of parallel pliers and hold on to this end, the end of this wire. Now this is square wire. So I'm holding on with this hand to the wire, and I'm going to twist here, and you really have to give it a good grip unless you've got locking pliers, which I don't. So I'm just going to twist this. I'm not going to twist it too much, but I am going to give it some twist. And I think that's enough. So I'll let go of my parallel pliers. And there's my square wire that is now twisted. So that's kind of cool. All right. Okay, so I have my 3 wires that I'm going to use. I don't need the wire winder again for this project. All right. If you don't have a wire winder, I found one on Amazon that is reasonable as far as cost goes. I'm going to put some links in the group page. So if you get any of these things on Amazon, I appreciate if you go through my link. That's where you can support me if you care to do so. Because anything that you buy on Amazon through my links, anything that you buy through any of the links that I post, I will get some monetary credit. It's not a lot. It's like a quarter on a $10 item or something. But you know, if everybody buys stuff, it all adds up. And the other thing about that is if you enter Amazon with or through one of the links that I post, um, anything that you buy, anything, it doesn't have to be jewelry or tool related or anything. You could buy sheets or blankets or whatever. Um, all of that counts as far as me getting credit for your purchases. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, that's something rather than a tip jar or whatever. Um, I appreciate that. That's always kind of fun to look in there and see. Now, I don't know who buys what, so it tells me the products that are purchased, but not by whom. So you can buy personal products. You can buy all kinds of different things. I won't know who you are. So, but I do get credit for that. So, um, I don't have an affiliate link like some people do. I am small potatoes as far as Amazon is concerned. So I don't get that special affiliate page. So, but if you go in through any of my posted links, I get it. Okay. Yeah, this 12 gauge was the square wire. Thank you, Jan, for answering that. Okay, so next up is forming the links and or forming the hoops. And I will start, I guess I'll start with the double the double wire, the double 12 gauge wire. Move this camera. I wish I had a camera person. I'd say that all the time, and I really, it's true. I really do wish that I had that. I'm going to be using some double cylinder pliers or forming pliers, and then I also have this wrap and tap, which is 3 steps, 3 sizes of hoops that you can form your links with. Now, since the wire is not annealed, it's a little bit stiffer to work with, and that's okay. Like I said earlier, you can anneal it if you want to. I'm just trying to cut some steps, so I'm not doing that. I'm using the smaller of the cylinder pliers. These are 25 millimeters and 35 millimeters as far as the size goes. This is an inch, and I don't know, this is maybe an inch, I don't know, inch and a half or inch and 3/8, something like that. But I'll post those also for you. That's one option. There's other sizes of these, but this is what I have. And the next one I have is like way bigger, so that's just too big for earrings for me. But I also like to make the small size earrings like this, and I would use the wrap and taps for those. Okay. All right, so I'm going to use the smaller side of the cylinder and just kind of roll it around. You need probably about 5 turns or five links. And it's bigger. I guess maybe since I didn't anneal it, it doesn't really form to the exact size. It kind of like springs back. And to me, I find that okay, but you might really want to get that particular size. So I would say you probably should anneal it then. And I'm just going to turn it around. And to get 2 pairs of earrings or 4 pieces of the hoops, you have to make like 5 wraps because you're going to lose some space when you cut them. I guess I should have annealed them. I just didn't. So, but it still all works out. Okay. So I'm not going to get 2 whole pairs out of these. I'm only going to get 1 good pair, I think, just because I boogered up that one end of the wire right off the bat. Also, when you're cutting this thick wire, these have been referred as fat daddies, I think, from Vegucation. That's where I first learned about them many years ago, probably 15 years ago. But that's also another product you can get on Amazon. And they're great. Okay. Now, also for this, these are not Wubbers, Jamie. These are a knockoff brand, but Wubbers does sell them, and they're always good quality. So it's whatever you want and whatever you can afford. I would go with those. Okay, so, and I'm also not going to saw these with a jeweler saw, although you can if you want to, but I find that kind of clumsy for the size of this. And I'll show you how I get around that anyway. Get my cheaters on here. Oh no, I broke my cheaters. Back to the dollar store. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with these fat pliers here, I'm just going to cut that end off flush, and then I'm going to turn my uh, oh no, no, no. What I have to do for these hoops, they need to be, when you cut them, let's see here. When you cut them, you're cutting part of this off. You're not having the whole round hoop. You're having like 3/4 of the hoop. So if you line it up, say with a clock as a reference, you want your top part to be at 12 o'clock and then this cut like at 3 o'clock. Okay. It doesn't have to be precise that way, but you have to make sure you cut both of them the same. So that's what I want to do, is cut where this would be about 3/4. You can mark it with a marker if you want, or eyeball it like I'm going to do. Cut with the flush side. And if anything, I would cut a little extra. I mean, leave a little extra, because you can always snip that off if you're not exactly where you want to be. But I kind of like line it up like that. So I'm just right there. So that'd be 12 o'clock, that'd be 3 o'clock right there. All right, so now I'll trim off, and I'll show you how I correct those ends too. I'm going to snip off this little pointy part and make the second one. This is probably where you should mark the second one. Right. Okay, so I have my two pieces. And if you kind of distort the wire a little bit as you're working, you can always put it on a uh, hoop mandrel and hit it with a rawhide mallet, and you can reform it a little bit. So there are always ways to get around stuff. Okay, so now I've got these raw edges here, and I want to file that a bit um, before I do any soldering, because these are sharp on the ends here. And I'm going to take a cup burr, and and a cup burr here, and I'm going to put my wire in the cup burr and smooth that out on both ends. So I don't want any sharpness. It's like being at the dentist. I don't know if you can hear that or not. That rounds out that wire real nice. And I'll put the sizes of these two in the notes. Okay. I worked in the dental field for like 34 years and got used to all these power tools. I didn't do any drilling except for lab stuff, but I got real familiar with all these drills and drill bits, and it was real comfortable uh, to work with this kind of stuff. All right. Okay. Okay, got that? So these are all smoothed off here. Now, when I go to solder, I will solder the post on the one end, but I will also drop a little tiny bit of solder on the opposite end, just so that those wires never come apart. They shouldn't come apart, but just to be sure, it's nice to finish that off with just a little drop of solder on the other ends. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm going to make some of this pattern wire into the smaller rings here. I like hoops different sizes. You know, sometimes I like a small hoop, sometimes I like a larger hoop. I'm going in the middle, on the middle wrap and tap here. This wire is a little softer, so it bends more true to size on here. It doesn't really spring back like the other, but you're limited as far as how many links you can get on one coil because of the size of the step there. Okay, so there's that. Okay, Lucy. Yeah, I'm going to get in touch with everybody too before we actually leave when I have more of a sense of uh, how the time is going to work out. So, but I hope to see you. Okay. All right. And here again, um, I'm going to disconnect these here with the pliers. Cut off that little point right there. And then I'm going to do about here for the first one. The very first time I made these, I cut the backs a little bit too short, and I didn't like the way they looked. I thought they looked funny. They were not quite, they weren't 3/4 at all. They were almost just like half. I didn't care for that. All right, so that'll be one. I got to cut off that point. And snip that. Whoops. Okay. And save all these little bits that you cut off. This can go into your scrap jar. And I will file these. There are different sizes of these cup burrs, but the larger ones, this is well, they come in different sizes. Um, I guess different places list them as different sizes, but this is a 0.35 for whatever that's worth. Um, but if they, I was trying to figure it out in millimeters. Um, so yeah, this is like a 3, I don't know, 3.5, 3.5 millimeters for that size. If you measure from the outside, there are larger ones, but I don't know. I haven't had that much luck finding them. When you get them in a set, um, you can buy them in several different kinds of sets. Um, but there's an awful lot of really small ones. So if you're just working with really fine wire, uh, these are fine. But if you're doing like double wire, you need something that's larger. You know, if you're doubling wire or using thicker wire. So I have to do a little bit more research on. These were from Eurotool, but I know that you can buy them individually too on other jewelry making sites. So I need to get a little bit better information on that for you. Okay, so I've got those two. All right. And now we do the square wire. This is pretty stiff, so this really should be annealed. I guess I could do that while I'm sitting here. Okay, let's see here. Move the camera. We'll do that just so you guys can see. Hopefully we can call that good. It's a little softer. Okay. I'm going to make another small pair. Okay. Yeah, it does, Patty. It as soon as you start to twist, it starts to work hard. And hi, by the way, my friend. Okay, so I've got this twisted. Cut off this little point here. By annealing, I've made my metal dark and I would need to pickle it. So I'll throw that after I um, use the cup burr on there. I'll pickle this. This one's just a tad bigger. Okay, use the cup burr on these, and then I'll start to solder. That gives a nice smooth edge. So I'm going to put these in the pickle pot and move on to getting stuff soldered. All right. Yeah, Pat, having the right tools for the job, it's always a plus. Makes it a lot less stressful. All right, let me put this away. Now, let's talk about the posts. All right, I got my Hi Sandy. Hi Jennifer. Yeah, a lot of you guys got hit with a lot of snow in the last couple of days. We were spared so far, but we're not out of the woods for sure. All right. So for these, I got from Rio, which I will also have marked in the handout so that you can find them easily. There's two kinds of posts that I use, and the earring nuts, the corresponding earring nuts, the numbers will be in the handout as well. Now, there are posts that are just little pieces of wire that are very tiny. I don't know if you'll be able to see them or not. They are just a little teeny wire, and they have a little tiny, like a nail head kind of at the top, but it's very tiny. And then they have ones that are a little bit, like the nail head part is a little bit larger. And I kind of like the little bit larger, but again, it depends on what you're putting it on. So this is like the post that you see probably more often. I'm not really certain, but depends on the width or the area that you have that you're soldering to. So if I take my earring and kind of hold that up to it, well, either one would work, but there's going to be a little bit of an overlap of this little nail head area showing on this particular earring. Now, maybe not so much on the square wire because that's a little bit wider. Yeah, I would choose the one with a little bit more surface area for the square wire. But either one is fine. It's just whatever you can work with. I got to tell you, as I've gotten older, it's harder for me to have a steady hand. And when I was younger, or probably, well, I haven't been doing it this long, maybe 20, well, probably about 24 years that I've been doing this stuff, but I didn't do this 24 years ago. So I might have been steadier, but I didn't do this. So I can't tell you for sure. But if you have a steady hand, it's to your advantage. It makes it a little bit more complicated if you are kind of shaky when you're putting stuff on. So I'm going to go with the smaller head for the two pairs of earrings, the double twist and the pattern wire, and then I'm going to do the little larger head for the square wire. I think the surface area is a little bit better for that. Okay, so Now, I have purchased some of these from different companies, and they all seem to be a little bit different. They all are uh, a little bit sized differently, and that matters only, as far as I'm concerned, to fit the proper ear nut on there. If they're too skinny, then the ear nut doesn't fit. So you have to be able to verify that the posts that you get are going to fit into the earring nut. Um, it's all stuff to think about. But okay, so that's that. And now I'm going to get my soldering area together. And because of having shaky hands, I'm using two third hands to help me out, to keep steady and keep the placement right where I want it to be. And maybe I'll move this here a little bit. All right. I want to have it set up so that you guys can see it okay, but I'm kind of limited as far as what you can actually see without burning my phone. All right. So for my two third hands, I'm also going to use one of these hummingbird holders, but I'll show you how I use that because it's not in the traditional way. I'm also going to use Easy Paste Solder. This is the one that Pepe came out with. It's the nano paste. This doesn't have any cadmium or the rotten stuff in it that the other solder pastes have that are very harmful to your health. So I've moved over to this nano paste and I like it. I feel better about using that. I also have an exhaust fan going, and I also have a just a small fan pointed up at my smoke detector because sometimes when I work in here, if I don't have enough ventilation flowing, that will turn the smoke detector on, and that's kind of a scary sound. So we don't want that to happen. All right, so I'm going to, where are my things? Make sure that I have this lined up right. Okay, so this is the end that I'm going to put my hoop in on that third hand. And I'm going to put my post. I'm going to put a little dab of paste solder on the end here. Now this is just how I do it. I don't know how other people do it. So you might find a better way for yourself, or maybe have followed somebody that does it in a different manner. And I'm putting my post in this third hand. And I want to elevate this other third hand since my soldering board is up higher. There we go. Put my post. I'll try to get a better shot once I get this on here. I'm going to use that hummingbird to hold down This one's better. This one's heavier. I want to hold down that post, the third hand, to keep it from moving. And like I said, I do it this way because I have shaky hands. Otherwise, you could hold this post with the tweezer if you have steady hands and place it when you're soldering. I do not. Also, putting the solder on here kind of covers up the area that you're working on, so it's a little harder to see. Maybe I'm making this harder than I need to be. I don't know. But I've got it that it works for me, so. All right, let's hold our breath here. So I'm going to circulate the heat all the way around because I've got some big heat sinks going on. I think I moved, but maybe not. Doesn't take long once you get it hot. Miracle of miracles. It's on here. Okay, it's on. All right. So, number one is on. Okay. Put this in a pickle. Sorry, I'm reaching over. Grab these. Well, for Pete's sake. Okay. Sorry. I had a new pair of copper tongs that I put in the jar and didn't realize they had a little band on the end of them. I couldn't get them to open right away. Okay, so that's in. Now I got the square wire out of the pickle. And I'll set up for that. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to take this end and just flatten it a little bit with my flex shaft. It's a little bit too rounded where I want to put the post on it. So I'm just going to take a white wheel, white silicone wheel that's got grit in it. And just flatten that a little bit, make it a little more even where I can put the post on it. This one I was going to put the little bit larger head on there just to try that out. All right, get my paste solder on here. Because it's warm, that solder kind of melted. Just want to make sure I have enough of it on here. These feel a little bit thinner, these posts. I should have checked it to make sure. Although I do have other ear nuts if it's too skinny. It's best to get it all set up, even if it's kind of aggravating to take a lot of little steps, but it's worth it in the end. This one's a lot shorter. There we go. Like I said, if you're steady-handed, you don't have to go through all this crap. But that's not right. It's going to be off at an angle. All right. I'm not sure if I got that or not. All this stuff gets hot, so be careful. It's on, but it's a little cockeyed. It's a little bit cockeyed. I don't like that. So I'm going to do the other one with the regular, with the post that is not um, doesn't have that extra nail head on it, the extra wide. I don't know what else to call it, but it's kind of like a nail head. We'll go with just standard. The standard pin. And I will take that other one off, that other post off afterwards, and reposition it, or actually take that one off totally and get the this other one on, the regular. Oh, that's hot. You don't want to put too much heat on the post itself. You want to get the other part of the metal hot. Because if you concentrate too much on the post, you're going to melt it. But you have a lot of heat sinks going on here, so it takes a little bit more heat. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, so that one's on good. Quench it. There we go. Okay. Oh, missed the pickle. There we go. All right, so then we just have, did I do? I'm confusing myself. Oh, we just have the twisted wire to solder on that post. Now, all these things get really hot, so you might want to quench them. Whoa! Did you hear that? That was hotsy-totsy. This too. Not so much. Try something else here. Maybe coming in from a different approach. Gonna give that a shot. I don't know if that'll work or not. Except I can't see it that well. Okay. Put a little paste solder on here. I can't see that way. I've watched videos where people put posts on so effortlessly with a pair of tweezers, and I'm jealous. Okay. Okay, it's on. Quench. And pickle. That first one out. And then I'm going to get don't fall in the water. Then I'm going to get my brass brush. And clean this. Pool's a little overkill, but that's what I had. All right. Okay. So I would inspect them. Oh, you know what I forgot to do was drop a little bit of solder on this double wire. Damn, forgot. Well, I can still add that. But all I would have done was when I was soldering is just put a little bit of that paste solder right on the join of these two wires and let that melt in. So then the earring nuts, I would put this in the tumbler now for a while. I like to tumble for about 45 minutes usually. But, you know, if you're pressed for time, you can do less or you could do more. Um, or if you wanted to patina them, you could do that as well and then tumble. Um, but these little uh, earring nuts fit very nicely on the on the posts. These posts, these are a 1.5 millimeter pad, and the post is 630026. That's the item number from Rio. But like I said, I'll have it in the handout. But they fit perfectly with the nut, the ear nut, item number 615803. Those will be on the handout as well. So those two I know are ones that fit well. If they're a little wonky, like I said, you could put it on an earring hoop mandrel and just hammer it lightly with a rawhide hammer. This one's a little wonky, so I'll do that, but I don't have it with me at the moment. So yeah, they are simple and fast, really. If you cut, you know, several links, you know, from a coil, you can get quite a few pairs of earrings in not that much time. I mean, this isn't not even an hour and a half. I've got 3 pairs of earrings, um, and there's potential for several more. Under 2 hours, you can get several pairs made. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty clean. If there was any, this is such a small area, but if there were any solder excess, I would clean that off. There isn't on here, but you know, it's nice and clean. And sizes, you know, you can make them different. You saw that when I annealed the wire, it was more, the shape and the form was more true to the actual size of the Wrap and Tap pliers. So I had a lot more spring using the cylinder pliers, but I did not anneal the metal, and I'm sure that that's had everything to do with that. So I will put all this information in the group. It's all on the handout already. I've got the handout made, and I will send that out to everybody in the group in just a little bit. But if you have any other questions, just ask. Hey, Deb. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, just ask if there's any questions that you have with it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of fun using the pattern wire. I'm sure there's a lot more out there. I need to look on Rio and see if there's anything else that piques my interest. Not that I need anything else, but I enjoy doing it. Yeah, Pat, they are. They're pretty. I like the ability to make the different sizes and with the different wires, and that would be a nice addition for you guys that do shows and stuff to have lots of different things to offer. And I don't know what this cost me to do it, but actually it's not that much. And you can charge a pretty nice price for these. I think people would be willing to spend the money on the sterling silver earrings like that. I have something totally different in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to share that idea with you yet, but it's totally different, and it maybe might be suited more for summertime. But I'm going to do it now because you know I don't always have that many ideas to share. I mean, I keep coming up with stuff, but a lot of stuff people already know, so I hate to repeat and repeat. Um, okay, so I think that's it. I will see you in the group in just a little bit and post those things, the handout and the links. And if you make this stuff, please post it. You know, I enjoy when I see what you guys make, especially if it's from stuff that I've shown you how to do. from projects, from demos, and we'll go from there. All right, my friends. Oh, Marlene, hi. Happy New Year to you too, and happy birthday yesterday. Okay. All right. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but hi and bye to all you guys. Take care.